Alright, Pack, welcome back to another video here on the Dividend Doggo Show on YouTube, and I'm bringing you into M1 Finance. This is my taxable brokerage account, and we are going to look over the buys that I've had over the past couple weeks. I've taken a little bit of a break, mainly to get some new hardware and get a new microphone set up. My microphone seemed to have died to static electricity. I'm not really 100% sure what happened to it, but either way, I am back at you with another video here. We're going to go over the past couple weeks of buys in the portfolio, the dividends that have come in, and what I am up to with the portfolio. So as you can see, this is the all-time view. We do have a little bit of income that came in. This is a Costco dividend, I believe. So that's going to be rolling into the portfolio this coming week. But overall, you can see the portfolio is doing pretty good. We are up over $62,000 in earned dividend income since August of 2019, which is pretty fantastic. We're going to dial this down immediately straight into the view that everyone wants to see is how we're doing for the week. So we earned $21 in earned dividends, and we had a little bit of a market gain of $3,600. So overall, the portfolio was in the green for the week, but that is mainly based off of just a couple of stocks. So let's go ahead and dive into that. We have the finance sector, Coma Money, consumer, healthcare, utilities, monthly dividend stocks, and then industrial and railroads. So only about half of the portfolio was in the green. So let's take a look at with finance first right off the bat here. So you can see Bank of America was the one in the red, but everything else was in the green. And we did get a very minor raise, I believe, from T. Rowe Price coming in as far as the dividend goes, but overall finance sector was doing pretty good for the week. Citigroup being up just over 2.6% for the week there. So we're going to go back here and we're going to look at Coma Money. This is SCHD and Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire Hathaway was just barely in the red this week, but SCHD managed to squeak out in the green. So overall, the portfolio is still in the green for the Coma Money pie. The consumer pie was in the green pretty significantly. Altria was up 1.76%, and then we have Lowe's, Costco, Target, and Pepsi just squeaking out even there. But everything was in the green for all of the consumer sector for the week, which is pretty phenomenal. And then we're going to look at the healthcare. This was the first one that's in the red here. This is AbbVie and Johnson & Johnson. They're both just barely in the red for the week. I don't think there's been any big news or anything like that out of AbbVie recently. Utilities, we've got almost completely flat, but Duke was up just a little bit here, 1.4%, and Vistra was down 0.35. Vistra is one of those that moves around quite a bit week to week. Then we have BST in the monthly dividend stocks. This is a relatively high expense ratio CEF that stands for close-end fund, I believe. This pays out monthly, which is one of the reasons why I was really attracted to it, but it tracks mainly the tech sector. So they sell covered calls on tech stocks like Apple, Amazon, Alphabet. So that's kind of this is a relatively small position. I do want to build this up a little bit more, just to about 10,000, and then just let it cruise and buy with the monthly dividends. Industrials, this is Louisiana Pacific Corp and UMP. I've had a lot of questions on what the buy target for me for UMP is. Right now, I think it's not necessarily over valued, but I think that it's closer between over and fair valued. I am just going to keep adding to the position as I can pick up a couple shares here and there and just kind of let it go for the next 5 to 10 years and see how it does. Overall, down just a little bit this week, and I'm just going to continue to add to it, especially if it does come down a bit in price where it gets a little bit cheaper. I think it'll be a better buy for my portfolio specifically because of the time horizon and how long I want to keep the stock. So let's go in and let's take a look at the activity. setup here, and this is going to show us everything that's been going on with the portfolio for the past month. So we're going to look at all of February here. You can see that we've had several sets of buys. The M1 Finance credit card rewards came in. That was $45. We had a bunch of dividends. We had Lowe's and AbbVie come in. Costco just paid out on the 17th, and I apologize if you can hear all the doggies barking in the background. But overall, we've had a bunch of money come into the portfolio, and we did do a deposit on the 14th on Valentine's Day, and we did an order there. So I'm going to show you what all of these trades were here, and we're going to dive straight into the first one there. That's SCHD. This was AbbVie's dividend. I reinvested AbbVie's dividend straight into SCHD. This allowed us to pick up an extra 8.58 shares of SCHD, which is pretty phenomenal. I absolutely love the fact that almost at about 10 shares for that purchase. Then we have the $1,000 ad. This was on Valentine's Day, which my wife and I just cooked at home, and I did get flowers delivered this year. We normally aren't big on that type of thing. We usually cook dinner together and have dinner and usually watch some TV or a movie, something of that nature. But I did actually buy flowers this year, which was pretty special and pretty amazing because they came in a gorgeous box. UNP, again, I'm just adding a few shares here as I can. And then PepsiCo, they gave us a 10% dividend. I want more shares, so I went ahead and bought a little bit more Pepsi. This actually added 2.8 shares to the position, which is pretty phenomenal, and I'm absolutely loving that. Then we had one more buy here. This was into Lowe's. This is just under half a share of Lowe's stock. I absolutely like Lowe's in my current portfolio layout. I do know that it's in other ETFs and stuff like that we hold, but I want to own the company directly and have shares in it and build them up a little bit. So I'm going to continue to add as I can. This one's a relatively expensive one in my opinion, but overall that's kind of where we're at. So that kind of brings us to the end of what's been going on for the past couple weeks. I've just been adding to the positions and collecting the dividends that roll into the portfolio and then adding them back into the portfolio. Now, I've been asked a couple times, like, how do I handle taxes and stuff like that? We roll 100% of the dividends that are earned into the portfolio. We pay the taxes out of our W-2 income and from real estate holdings. That is primarily because I want to compound this portfolio as fast as possible and continue building it up as fast as I can here. So I do want to thank all of the new subscribers. We've had a lot of new subscribers to the channel after the last video. This is my journey to making this $1 million portfolio that's spinning off about $80,000 in passive income. It will take more than $1 million to get to that point for the rate that I'm currently at. The yield is a little over 3.5% on this portfolio right now. And in order to reach that 80K, I think we're going to need somewhere around $2 million. We are in our 30s and we are working toward financial independence and retiring early. This is the bridge portfolio for us to do that. We are investing in 401k funds as well. That is predominantly in the F.I.R.E 500, which is an S&P equivalent fund. So a large portion of our net worth is in the stock market via the S&P 500. So overall, this portfolio is meant to help bridge that gap, and hopefully it will get to the point where we can do that without having to sell shares in the future. Maybe in the future we'll be able to sell covered calls for premium to pay the bills. That might be a long-term goal as well, to subsidize if there are any gaps for the dividend income. But overall, this is what the portfolio looks like. Again, we're back to the all-time view here. And you can see kind of how the portfolio has done since 2019. There were a lot of questions around how we funded this portfolio so strongly over the course of 2019 to 2020. And during the market crash, you can see where I really ramped up adding to the portfolio. And I wanted to clarify a little bit. This is not just my income. My wife and I work together to build this portfolio. We are dual income. We don't have kids. We just have 3 puppies right now that are all 1 to 1.5 years old. And we save about 35% of our gross income. We do that by investing in 401k funds and in this portfolio here. We don't drive fancy cars. We have, almost 13-year-old Honda. And I had a Tacoma pickup truck from the mid 2000s. So we don't buy new vehicles. We don't buy luxury stuff. Most often, most of our income goes to food and dog food and pet bills. So that's pretty much the way things go. We live relatively simply. We have moved semi out of the city and out of the big hubbub of living in a large city. We did move from Los Angeles to Washington over the past 2 years, but originally from Austin, Texas. So there's some big culture shocks moving from Texas to Los Angeles for a few years and then to Washington State. It's definitely been a very different experience, but that's a little bit of background on where the money comes from. I do full-time real estate investing and I do property management. That is how we roll all of my income in. We live off of my wife's income, which is a significant goal that we had to strive to be able to save that much money every year and invest it. So our goal is to keep building this up and continue to get more dividends coming into the portfolio and create additional streams of income for ourselves. So if you like this content and you want to keep following on the journey, like, comment, subscribe. I usually try to reply to all of the comments I can. In between calls and working, I will try to get back to each of you if you leave a comment. If it's a negative thing, I'm probably going to comment and reply back anyway, but all in all, I appreciate every single one of you for watching. Thank you all for following this journey. We've grown over 1,200 subs in just the past 3 weeks, and that's phenomenal because that's literally a fourth of the entire channel's sub base in 3 weeks. So thank you all for watching, and I will be back at you with another update here and what I'm buying over the next week, probably by the weekend this weekend. So thank you very much for watching and have a great week.